Bush is now calling for expulsions for House members who offered internships to Kyle Rittenhouse. Kevin McCarthy says if Republicans take back the House, he would restore committee assignments to disgraced members Paul Gosar, as well as Marjorie Taylor Greene. And Ron DeSantis, a potential 2024 Republican presidential candidate, is trolling President Biden, traveling to the suburb of Brandon, Florida, to embrace a conservative slogan that implies swearing at the president. And this is just a short list of what we're talking about. Joining us right now is Pratte, who's a political strategist and board member of Republican Women for Progress. She's also a contributor to NBC Think. And Fernand, Amandi, who is a Democratic pollster and MSNBC political analyst. Welcome to both of you. Actually, I do want to start with Rittenhouse and Cori Bush specifically. I want to read these lines from a tweet that she wrote. She says, not only do these members fuel violence, well, now they're actively recruiting someone whose sole qualification is killing people standing up for Black lives and getting away with it. What does this actually say about the state of today's Republican Party?
Well, to me, this isn't a preview of how the Republican Party would lead. This is exactly how they have been leading and will continue to lead. Donald Trump's presidency was just the beginning, and it allowed for the dark extremist underbelly of the party to come to light. And all of these things that we're seeing, current events around vaccines, Rittenhouse, Black Lives Matter, this is all just, again, a continuation of what we've seen for the last 4 years, but really has been existing within the Republican Party for a very long time. It just never really had a platform. So like this racist, sexist, and violent rhetoric, it has a home within the GOP for now and the foreseeable future, and they've proven that time and time again. With or without Trump, this is the future of the Republican Party, and everybody should be on notice right now. And this really isn't surprising because the GOP machine capitalizes on division, and they've always been labeled as the outrage machine. It's dangerous, it's wrong, and as you pointed out, it fans the flames of all of these political tensions. And it's always been labeled the outrage machine for this reason.
Fernand, I'm curious about this. If you see this, the whole cozying up that Kevin McCarthy is doing, cozying up to MTG or Marjorie Taylor Greene and Gosar, is that an incentive for voters going into 2022 midterms?
Sadly, Kendis, I'm not sure the voters are as engaged or watching this to the degree, that folks certainly on this network are. But I mean, I think as Ashley said so eloquently, this has been a pattern of behavior that, for better or for worse, the Republican Party feels they have a sense of political impunity around. In spite of the fact that we saw the escalation of violent rhetoric, certainly during the Trump campaign and throughout the Trump presidency, culminating in the January 6th violent insurrection against the United States Congress, where police officers lost their lives, and the Republican Party has poo-pooed that. I also see that extremism even touching aspects that were once unthinkable, the type of financial violence where now, on December 15th, we face the possibility of a debt ceiling lifting again. The Republicans have made clear they're not going to cooperate. They can't count on any type of cooperation to protect the nation's financial integrity, and that would just throw America and the financial markets into chaos. The Republican bet is that that type of extremism will reflect poorly on the Democrats in office and not them. So it's a very disturbing development for a party that is increasingly untethered from the principles of democracy and have embraced a culture that says violence is acceptable and there is impunity when it comes to how we administer the oversight of that violence.
Yeah, and then actually you have Ron DeSantis. Of course, you mentioned he's a potential 2024 Republican presidential candidate. He went to Brandon, Florida, was clearly trolling President Biden. Is this what's going to happen for the next couple of years?
I think we can expect this to happen through 2022, 2024, 2026, and beyond. I mean, this is just, again, the future of the Republican Party here. You didn't think it could get much worse than Donald Trump? Well, here it is. And January 6th was just, again, the culmination of 4 years of outrage leading to another 4 years of outrage. And they're never going to be satisfied until they get what they want. And that's why they fundraise off of all of these controversies, because they believe that they're in the right here, when in fact, history will prove that they are on the wrong side.
Yeah, Fernand, in the meantime, of course you're a Democratic pollster, but how much of the Republican Party would you say is actually fired up by this type of rhetoric and shenanigans when it comes to Marjorie Taylor Greene and Gosar?
extraordinarily fired up, and one only need to look at the electoral results we had less than a month ago in the state of Virginia, where Republican turnout was extraordinarily high. All of the public opinion studies that I've seen suggest, Kendis, that there is enthusiasm and tremendous enthusiasm amongst the Republican base towards now participating in this 2022 election. So when you combine that enthusiasm with this ominous embrace of extremism and even the sanctifying of violence in the name of political means, it paints a dark and grim picture, for the future of our American democracy, particularly if you don't see a counterweight or a countermeasure against the embrace of extremism.
All right, we're going to leave it there right now with Pratte, Oates, and Fernand, Amandi. Thank you both. Appreciate it.